Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise of talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topics, sorta like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th saw the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Devin McMillan. I'm in the building with my brothers. We got B. Austin, who's going to join us in just a few minutes. And we got a special guest co-host, my homie Fred Perdue from Cover 2 and Quick Slants. Jimmy is over in the Czech Republic, and shout out to the homie Phil Maddock from Tissue and the Tape for telling us why he's really over there. Apparently, Jimmy uses the $1.5 million that LeBron reportedly spends annually on his body to collect vampire blood for the king. So Jimmy's over there doing that very dangerous job. You know, one day I'm going to get him to document it by video so we can see just how Indiana Jones-ish it really is. But look, man, another championship in the bag for the city of brotherly shove. The NBA playoff race is in its final week. And there's still interesting moves to be made in the NFL. So settle in, keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on the conversation, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or you could join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 15 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme hotline. That number, as usual, is 323-410-0012. One last thing before we get the conversation started. Make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, you check out archive episodes of our show at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and all the places where you get your podcast listen on. So, Fred, what's going on, good brother? How's the week been for you so far, man?
Man, coming back from spring break, my double life, the teacher life has been good to me in sunny Florida, man. It's great, but, it's back to reality.
No doubt, no doubt. As usual, man, because we do 2 shows together that's been on hiatus. So, look, if I start sounding crazy, let me know so I can fiddle with this equipment in here and change out and all that good stuff.
I'll throw a quicker
doubt.
flat than that reference in the 02 National Championship where Miami got cheated. I'll make sure I do that.
Flag on the play. No doubt, though. No doubt, man. It's been, the week's been crazy, being the Philly fan that I am. I'm happy again. We had another parade in Center City earlier today. Villanova Wildcats did it again 2 times in the last 3 seasons. We'll talk about that in pretty much a few minutes. But look, man, I don't know, man. A couple more of these, y'all gonna have to start calling us Titletown, man. No disrespect to Boston, because they went on a nice little run, in the last decade. But I don't know. Maybe this one belongs to the city of brotherly shove, man. But we shall see. We'll get your thoughts on that in just a minute. Huh? Well, look, man. Hey, this is what we do now. I understand. I understand how you Patriots fans feel, and especially people who root for all of the teams up there, and they went on that little run where the Patriots won a couple, the Celtics had won one, the Bruins had won a couple. Like it was, and the Red Sox as well. Can't leave them out. So it was definitely Titletown up in Boston in the last decade. We're going to see if we can take that from them, though. All right, so real quick, we're going to get into some hot topics. Hot topics brought to you guys by MyBookie. Real quick, family, let's talk turkey and how much of it you can make investing in sports contests at MyBookie. The Masters are here, so if you haven't checked them out yet, this is a great time to do so. Lay down some dough in the biggest games in sports Join us and thousands of other online players investing at mybookie.ag. Remember that. That's .ag, not .com, mybookie.ag. Tired of getting a runaround when it's time for a payout? and the infamous words of Nas, like, on my corner when it's pay me time? But you guys tired of getting that runaround? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. No ass betting, you win, they pay, fast and without any hassles. You're wasting your time investing anywhere else. They even have in-game live investing, so you can take investments after tip-off, kickoff, face-off, whatever you're betting on. Join now. MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 50% bonus. Just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to match your first deposit. Just visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid. Period. All right, so real quick, back to the national championship, Fred. I mean, we know football is your twist, but we know you get down with a little bit of everything. So did you even get a chance to check out the national championship game?
I did, and quite honestly, I loved it because it's been a while since I used to be one of those people that loved college basketball until the one and done stuff happened, and I kind of distanced myself away from it because, I mean, college sports, you get attached to players for about 3 to 4 years, and with one and dones, it's not fun anymore. But this one, I really started liking this Villanova team. The way they play, they remind me of a certain team out in Cali, out in San Francisco, because of the way they share the sugar. They drop you off from three like nobody's business, and when certain players are dropping threes from NBA range, off the bench, by the way, man, it was a very good run. And in between that run, my Tar Heels somehow found a way to win one, but still.
No doubt. I mean, I understand what you're saying because, I mean, if you look at this particular game and the team that won it, the one and done rule doesn't really apply there. This team still had guys on the team from the championship that they won 2 years ago. So, you had the core of the team, the captains, you had Brunson, Mikal Bridges, who's probably going to leave this season, after 3 years. But it's kind of refreshing to see a program be able to build around those players. But that's no secret, though. Most of the time, like if a one and done heavy team makes to or wins the championship, like they still have to catch that lightning in the bottle, the chemistry and all of that kind of stuff. Because when you look at a lot of these teams that go on to, go deep into the tournament and win national championships, it's usually teams that actually got to build and have some players there for 2 or 3 seasons. The one and done guys, we know that they're the most talented, maybe even the most NBA ready. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can step right in and lead a team to a national championship.
Unless
still learning.
Unless you're a Coach Cal Kentucky team with Anthony Davis on it. That's a whole different piece, but even Anthony Davis, he was kind of an anomaly because, look at it. Coach Cal has the greatest. And no knock on him because he's still one of my favorite coaches. He does his thing. But he has, some of the greatest recruiting classes every single year. And Kentucky doesn't win the championship every year. So it's hard to do. It's hard to do. You'll sell way more tickets than everybody and more money off merchandising that they're not going to give to the students. But because they got more big names. But, it doesn't always work it works as far as keeping you relevant, keeping your program winning and alive and stuff like that, but it doesn't always win you a championship. But yeah, the Villanova team, and what up, B. Austin in the house. But the Villanova team, man, they were dominant in the tournament, man. I believe they won all of their games by double digits or more. Michigan started out pretty fast in the national championship game. But by halftime, Villanova had righted the ship because they're that type of team, like Fred, like you mentioned earlier, like they're so
Like they definitely can drop you off from 3, and they're so deep that even if they don't have a great start, like they'll have somebody that can come off the bench, like a Dante DiVincenzo, and hold everything down until the starters get their stuff together, and then once everybody starts clicking, then it's just gloom and doom for the other squad, man.
What's
B, what's up, man? Another
I mean,
parade in Center City, Philadelphia today, man. What's going on up in Philly, man?
Yo, championship town, Tinseltown in the east. No, let me stop.
You don't get to do that shit. You don't get to do that shit.
I'm shell, no doubt. I'm shell shocked. We don't cheat, and we not friends with Trump. I'm still shocked from growing up a Philadelphia sports fan. So until we win at least another 2 or 3 in my lifetime, and even probably then, you'll never see me but so hardy. I'm humbled. I'm thankful. Salute to Villanova, and I think what I saw with that team. First and foremost, I've seen them win 2 or 3 ugly games where their shot wasn't falling, which is their calling card, right? So the thing that everybody celebrates, kind of like that Golden State team you just referenced, Fred, the thing everybody celebrates is the explosive scoring, the spreading of the floor, the dropping of the 3 ball, but they've shown and proven that they can win ugly. And I love teams that can win ugly, and they have proven that they can do that, and they're very good defensively. So I kind of knew that they were special. I definitely didn't pick them to win the chip, but I knew that they were a special team and an elite team because of that fact. And the other thing that you guys touched on is the one and done, right? So when you look at what sports is, and you look at where society is, right? So we're in the super, super microwave society. Whatever comes after the microwave, we're in it. We're caught in the web. I feel like this team shows that the old way, which really to me isn't even old, it's just building a real solid foundation on players who are committed to your program and growing within the program, competing for the program, that still has merit in society and can still work. It's more than just, I'm going to just go out. God bless Zion, because that's my God. But I can do more than just go out and try and find 4 or 5 Zions and win the chip, all based on them just being original black men from that continent. Like, it doesn't have to just be that. It can be, I build a true program, and Villanova showed you that. So respect to them, salute to them.
No doubt. And crazy. Go ahead, Fred. My bad. Go ahead.
What I took away from this game, and they just every time Michigan found some life, Villanova, and it wasn't necessarily one person particularly, because they did it on both ends of the floor. But they found a way to just squeeze the life out of you. And it was, whether it was a big-time block, a good defensive stop, a deep range 3, and not just a college 3, but like a Steph Curry range 3. I mean, we have to characterize these threes now. But for me, when you see a team that knows we're dominating you, and we'll let you come back a little bit and make you feel good about yourself. But when we want to put the clamps on, we'll do that to you, and we'll assert our dominance yet again. That was what I really took away from that game.
All right, so like I spoke about early, Dante DiVincenzo was basically the hero of the game. He was named the MVP of the he was MOP. I'm sorry, they do most outstanding player. With his career high 31 points. LeBron James even said Dante DiVincenzo made a lot of money in that national championship game. Do y'all think that's the truth, like right now at this moment, do y'all think he should leave for the NBA after his sophomore season?
If it's all about the money, then absolutely. Do I think that he's really a legitimate NBA starter? Hell no. But I think that he has done enough to warrant a second-round look. I think that you know how it is, man. With as much as we like to act like professional sports management is so scientific and so professional, these dudes get caught up in the moment just like regular people. And so him hitting those shots and playing that well, somebody's fool. Somebody's going to pay Odell Beckham $22 million a season. Should they? Hell no.
No.
Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. There's a lot of.
I agree to a certain extent, and I also agree with you around where you said he could probably land, maybe late first round, second round, something like that. I kind of think LeBron James, as you know, the same as a lot of other people in the country, might be a little bit prisonerish in the moment, and that's not a knock on Chinzo, what we call him. That's not a knock on Chinzo at all, because I actually think he is that good of a player, but I don't think there's enough. I mean, he was a sixth man on the team. That wasn't the only game where he, lit those kind of fireworks by any stretch. But I actually think going back for his third year, stepping into the starting lineup and getting because he played starters minutes, but he can step to the lineup next season and play captain minutes, stars minutes, stuff like, things like that. I think he should go back for his third year. I don't know if this team is going to win again, but, he could dominate, be the best player on the team, and get an even better look, because teams out there in the NBA can say, okay, we saw him in the national championship game the year before. We all got excited. He came back for a whole season to prove that it was a fluke. Whereas now, somebody might take a late flyer, first round, second round, where you don't even get to make the team in his
Andy Toe is here on the show. Andy Toe is on the show, Devin. Andy Toe is on the show. I hear you, and we would have to do a deeper dive, but I'm gonna say this. I don't know, Fred, whether you're qualified to speak on this, because I don't know what your ball game looks like. But Dev, there's a big difference between having the green light as a sixth man and actually having to start and play and help run a team.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I was going for the difficulties.
So he could.
But I think if he goes back for the third B, not only teams in the NBA will basically say, okay, we saw what he did in the national championship game and we got excited over it. He goes back for a third season, steps into the starting lineup, balls, and proves that the national championship game wasn't some anomaly, wasn't some fluke. Now his draft stock is even higher. So I think I think there's room for him to climb up the board.
And he could.
There's risk. What if all he really is a scorer? Because as much as society loves scorers, me included, there's a certain skill set. There's a lot of guys walking around, and by a lot, I don't really mean a lot, but there's a lot of guys walking around
Be careful
that can drop 30, in an NBA game on NBA talent, but that doesn't really make them a legitimate NBA star.
No, you're right, but I think from what I've seen, I think he's also a pretty good defender. But we all know once you get to the NBA level, that's not going to be as easy, and it's going to be an effort thing. Like, a lot of people have the potential to be a great defender, but it's the effort that you put into it, that you decide to put into it once you get to that level. Like, are you going to want to chase these dudes around? I know one thing, though. That two-handed block, that was the illest play of the game.
My question is, I kind of piggybacking off of B. Austin. What happens if going with your scenario? If he comes back for a third year, what if he just turns out to be another? What if he's just Jimmer Fredette? I mean, what if he's JJ Redick? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hold on. I hear you on the Jimmer, but JJ Redick averaging 18 points right now. I know some team would hope he was a JJ Redick, but no, he's way more athletic than a JJ though. He got way more in this game.
He's more athletic.
That's a little disrespectful.
You disrespected JJ.
But at least
you could have said, because I see where you're going. You see what he's doing, B. He's just picking busty white guys. So you could have said Jimmer. You could have said Adam Morrison. Yeah,
I wanted to say Adam Morrison, but
I'm gonna say
Adam Morrison is another level of bad.
Funny. He tried to diss Duke in their death. I'm gonna say something funny.
I forgot he a Carolina guy, so he had to throw JJ in there, but nah.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something funny.
JJ averaging 17 a game right now in his 80th year in the league.
JJ Redick has the talent of a dying blade of grass. But he has the love, the heart, and the desire of an NBA great. And he doesn't know what his talent limitations are. And so it shows up how much of a baller that he is, because talent-wise, I don't think J.J. Redick is very talented at all, but he works so hard.
He one of them dudes that run like flat-footed. Like there's no athleticism in his body. DiVincenzo is a black dude in white skin and white face.
But you know the comparison I got. The funny comparison I got. We were just kind of sitting around watching the game, and it's one of my homeboys. He was like, "That's Sidney from White Man Can't Jump. He's actually good."
Oh, you mean Billy Hoyle?
No, I'm sorry, Billy. Billy Hoyle. Yeah. Billy. Yeah. He's Billy. I mean, he can actually ball.
I wanted to be Billy Ho for one reason, and it had nothing to do with basketball.
Because of Billy's. Anyway, man. Anyway, like I said, another parade in Philly today, and people. This is an argument that's had in Philly. Like there's a lot of people like, oh, Villanova not even in the city. Y'all on the bandwagon, this and that. But I'm like, they're still having that discussion up in Philly. Like Villanova is a part of Philadelphia's Big Five. Villanova, Temple, Drexel, LaSalle,
get the hell out of there with that.
And St. Joe's. Villanova plays their big games in the Wells Fargo Center, just like Temple and everybody else does when they have a big matchup. Villanova's championship parade is going on in Center City, Philadelphia today. So it's like, let's stop with those arguments, everybody. I mean, because the reason those arguments are had, B, is because people in the city, they pick teams. Like, oh, I'm a Temple fan. I'm a St. Joe's fan. I'm a Villanova fan. Like me, it's difficult for me to be like die hard of any school, college that I did not go to, but I'm all Philly all the time. So, yeah, whichever member of the Big Five is balling that year, that's who we riding with. I fully admit that. I grew up around the corner from Temple, though, so there is a little bit of bias. And, there's a little lean toward Temple. Like, I wish it was them sometimes, but whoever from Philly rocking, I'm rocking with them.
I root for every college team from Cheney on in.
Cheney, Lincoln, like you got any kind of Philly connection. All of them. I don't know why they even still having that argument in the city. All right, so let's get into some. This is if Fred wasn't the special guest co-host with us today, this was going to be his segment. So, we still going to do it just because he's here with us for the long run. Doesn't mean that we're not going to do his segment. So, Fred is going to talk to us about some underrated prospects leading up to the NFL draft who could possibly find themselves in the first round. So, maybe some surprise first-round picks that everybody that's just not on everybody's first-round radar. So, Fred, you got it. Who you got?
And my first one, you said something about effort guys and guys that don't know how not so great they are, but they work really hard. Well, this guy, Taven Bryan from the University of Florida, and I say nothing about the swamp people in Gainesville. I never give them much credit, but Taven Bryan his name's flying up draft boards. Defensive tackle, his get-off is second to none. And quite honestly, early in the process,
that's what she said about me. For me, when I look at his film, I say he doesn't know what he's doing yet, but he's just a really hard worker. But when you see his first step, he can take over a guy really quickly and get in a back, and he can get after quarterbacks just simply off of that. Now, granted, when you get to the NFL, it's a little bit different, but I can picture a D-line coach just hammering the table for a guy like him because they think they can turn him into something just off of the talent alone. Take a chance on a first round pick, and then when he doesn't work out, they fire you. But nonetheless, because he's in Florida, never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. But Taven Bryan is one of he's been on my radar for a while. For me, and he may be someone that for me, and defense has really been one of those things that I really, really don't really.
Wait a minute, Fred.
Because
before you name the next player, my bad to rewind on you a little bit, but there were some comments in some of the groups that I didn't get to read. Tobias, who we'll get him on the line in a little while. Tobias said. He said, tell Fred to embrace the one and done because the U was one and done in the tournament this year.
Well, unfortunately for him, I'm not a Miami Hurricane basketball fan, so I really, that doesn't hurt me too bad.
He also said DiVincenzo should test the waters but not sign with an agent. I agree with that. And Casey Mack, 38, said, as the great Damian Lillard says, strike while the iron is hot. In regards to DiVincenzo. Yeah. But then Tobias let him know that LeBron also said that Shabazz Napier was going to be big time. So are we really listening? Are we really listening to the Kang or what? and one more shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He said they should eliminate the one and done. Too many kids chasing dreams prematurely. Basically, in the days of Moses Malone, Darryl Dawkins, Kobe, KG, T-Mac, LeBron, you had to be special to come straight out of high school. Yeah, that's kind of where it went wrong. Like in the early 2000s, when everybody was leaving high school and no one was ready, so you're getting all of these lottery picks that don't know how to play basketball yet. So a lot of dudes were sitting on the bench. A lot of them were just straight up bust. So it's a situation, like if you no longer have that rule, then the talent pool in the NBA gets weaker faster. And that's why I think like the very early 2000s was a very trash time in the NBA. And even when we speak about Moses Malone and Darryl Dawkins and people like that, like I think the very first player to come out of high school and it was 100% planned was Kevin Garnett. Like Moses Malone, Darryl Dawkins, all of those people, it was financial reasons. Like Moses Malone was drafted in the ABA because, he signed to play in school, but his mom was dirt poor, so he needed to do something else. Moses Malone and I forgot who came out the same year as not Moses Malone, Darryl Dawkins. Somebody else came out the same year as him, and both of those guys actually had to show the NBA proof of their family's financial situation to make themselves eligible for the draft. So It was a different time, and a lot of people had this misconception that these guys just planned on doing that.
I want you to make no money.
Sean Kemp, same thing. Like, his wasn't a financial thing. He signed with Kentucky, got in trouble, went to a JUCO, never played there, and then by the next season he was eligible to be drafted anyway. So it was a big misconception that some of those early guys, that was their choice, because that wasn't. Half of them signed with schools, and it just didn't work out. But my bad, we're on to something else, and the callers that's on the line, hang tight after Fred finishes his underrated players. We'll get to the phone lines. So go ahead, Fred, my bad. Who's the second guy on your list?
For me, I have to look at Colton Miller, offensive tackle from UCLA. Not the most refined player, but maybe a team like your Philadelphia Eagles could use him. Simply put, Jason Peters isn't getting any younger, and quite after the injury he suffered this year,
might not be getting any healthier either.
His career might be over. So maybe stick him behind, put him on the right side and let Lane Johnson run the left side.
With the Vitas.
I got it done. But no, I mean, you need the depth. That's how we got where we were this year, because of depth.
And you have to protect the franchise. You have to protect Carson Wentz or Nick Foles. Hopefully,
Carson Wentz got to protect his damn self. Not acting a fool.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to get his ass down.
And last for me, the wide receiver position is a very, very weak position this year. And DJ Moore from Maryland, I hope he's not Torrey Smith, and I really hope he's not Darius Hayward-Bay. But
I was about to say, Maryland receivers just don't move the needle for me.
Fred,
they always fast with some trash hands.
Fred,
Fred,
did you just come on a national podcast to big up a University of Maryland receiver?
Hey, trends can change, man. What's that?
And I don't get hyped up about any University of Maryland player because they're all height, weight, speed guys. But for me, when I look at him, he has that explosiveness. He actually has decent hands. And when I look at him, I say, if I can't get Calvin Ridley from Alabama, I'm okay with, and I can't get Christian Kirk, a.k.a. Odell Beckham Light, without all the problems and the other things that you don't want to deal with. If I can't get those two guys, DJ Moore is right there for the taking. And if a team needs a very explosive young receiver that you can just use in different ways, not just put him on the outside, run him on go routes, or put him in kick return situations.
Cordell Patterson.
No, see, don't be disrespectful, Cordero Patterson. That's borderline Darius Hayward Bayish. Don't be that
gangbanger with speed. Program.
But and actually, I have a virtual unknown Nathan Shepard on the interior line. Fort Hays State. You don't get schools like this, but he's impressed a lot.
Sound like Cheney.
It's going to be a long shot that he gets into the first round. But when you talk about interior linemen, especially on the defensive side, these guys, you need these players to combat these quarterbacks who can just sit back all day and they can just pick you apart. So when I look at Nathan Shepard, he has the potential to, if he gets with the right system, because we all know, regardless of who the player is, they have to have the right fit.
Okay. And Fred, totally off topic, man, but kind of on topic. I finally finished season 2 of Last Chance U.
Oh.
And I saw the little cameo from your boy. I can't even remember his name. John Franklin III.
Yeah.
Still delusional about what he is. He's going to keep transferring schools until he's like 36, until somebody starts his ass.
He is last time I checked, he's at Florida Atlantic with DeAndre
He's with Lane
Johnson.
Kiffin now. Do you think there's a chance that Lane Kiffin is going to start him this season?
Probably not.
Because he seems
Johnson
to think
have
so.
A chance, but no.
More like 27, ain't he?
I was about to say he's gonna transfer schools until he's like 36, and he's gonna be trying to enter the NFL draft when he's like 41.
Oh, so we got another Brandon Wheaton situation here. Oh, okay.
Okay. Exactly.
I hope that degree is in something pretty good.
But this dude's a little delusional.
A little.
He's a little bit delusional. But all right, that's what's up. Let's go to the phone lines real quick because we do have the homie Tobias waiting on the line. Tobias, what's going on? Roll damn Tide.
Roll damn Tide, and I'm going to tell LeBron James from St. Nick, a.k.a. the King of Confetti, a.k.a. the best coach of college football history, that, hey, we still going to do that barbershop show. We don't care you get mad, LeBron. Just let you know that.
We're going to discuss that in a little while. That's a situation that's happening down there. But now, Tobias, we saw you made the comment about LeBron and his talent evaluation. I mean, Shabazz Napier was going to be the real deal. He did get Tristan Thompson like $84 million. So LeBron, I don't know. GM LeBron past the big names where you know he could bring a big name in and get back to the finals. Like when he really has to get down and dirty and do his homework, I don't know about his talent evaluations. Like some of these guys that he got big money for up in Cleveland. I'm
Can we be honest about
shaking my
head.
Be
honest? I got to talk this college basketball real quick. We got to be honest about this for a second. Jay Wright, if Marvin Bagley or DeAndre Ayton said, I want to go to Villanova, he'll sign that kid immediately. Now, so now you may have, they're becoming cool, they're winning now. Just like Duke wasn't the cool school to go to at first. Now you're winning, got a profile, you're in a city like Philly. Some of those players, those big-time recruits, may start wanting to go there now. And no coach is going to turn those players down.
You're right, because he's going to have a decision to make. Because I saw him being interviewed, and one of the points he made was when they asked him, where do you go from here, he was like, his biggest goal is to keep the program pure. And he was like, you might not always win championships that way, but I want to stay consistently good. So when he said that, I assumed he's alluding to what you were just alluding to, Tobias, like keep it pure and not selling out every year to the one and dones. But you're right. Like, what do you do when some of these guys start, putting you on their top 4 list, top 3 list, top 2 list? Like, what do you do?
Because
do
you might
not
have a kid
offer
from the
the
Philly
best
area.
player in America, because you want to keep it pure?
Yeah, what if you got a kid from the Philly area who wants to go there?
Right, and like you said before, Coach K said that a long time ago, and then Coach K like, all right, I got to play the game now. It's that bullshit.
you know what happened? You know why Coach K started going one and done? He kept trying to have to compete with those Kentuckys of the world while he got Kyle Singler out there, his best player. He just be out there. It's easier you go with Bagley. And let's be honest, because here's the thing about Duke, right? Yeah, they had a couple of one and done, but they had some veterans. And everyone's favorite, everyone's favorite white privileged guy, Grayson Allen, made that jumper. They be in the Final Four right now. So some of these teams, it's all determined is single elimination. So sometimes what if Villanova lost in the Sweet 16? Will anyone be talking about how bad the one and done rule is now? But here's the thing: if we all had children, right, the boys that want to get to play in the NBA, how many of us would tell you got a lottery grade? Hey, go back to school. He gonna tell your kid to leave because even though Kwame Brown won the biggest bust in NBA history, he still made $60 million.
Oh, he made a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
Kwame Brown, and that's another thing. Like he's always on those lists, and we clown Kwame just as much as everybody else. But I don't know if he really belongs in the conversation of biggest bust in NBA history. Because of the little career that he carved out for himself. He played a lot of years in the league. He made a lot of money in the league. Like, is he really one of the biggest busts? I think some of the biggest busts are the guys who either got there and was out in a couple of years, or guys who thought they were going to be there and never even made it. like Lenny Cook type dudes. Yeah, so, Kwame did, but the thing that was working for Kwame is because even though he was trash, like, he came in with a grown man body, so at least that was going to keep him in. Like, he can at least grab you some rebounds for the minutes that he's going to be in there. He can at least play some defense for the minutes he's going to be in there. But for where he was picked, in comparison to who actually picked him, that's before we knew that Michael Jordan was the Michael Jordan of bad GMing. There was a lot of expectations on him. So Michael Jordan and his talent evaluation is just as bad as LeBron's. So that's something else that everybody can throw into this god-awful comparison that I got to hear about and talk about every day of my life.
You know what? Here's the other thing about that same draft. Kwame Brown came in because I remember that was a draft that the Bulls decided to take 2 high schoolers back to back.
Yeah,
Eddie Curry was a top 5 pick. Tyson Chandler he came a nice player. Pau Gasol, but Shane Battier was a top 5 pick in that draft. Some guys. It wasn't like those. It wasn't like those the '96 draft we was talking about.
Exactly. It's not like Mike passed up on some Hall of Famer to draft Kwame Brown. Like that's crazy. Like, and we say people like Battier and Tyson Chandler carved out some nice careers, but they both basically carved their careers out of defense. Tyson Chandler was one of the first dudes who put the bullet in the head of the traditional big man. Tyson Chandler couldn't post you up if his life depended on it. He was just a dude flying in for putback dunks, tapping the ball out and getting rebound stats from that, even though he never grabbed the rebound. So, that draft altogether was terrible. So it's always, in the moment we embellish on some stuff.
I really thought Eddie Curry was going to be something. I was fooled.
Yeah, Eddie Curry can never get in shape.
Chicago. and see, you know what? And like one thing also, talk about the NFL draft. I'm tired of this Kaepernick thing in here. The NFL draft, like there are some. It's like I know, like everybody's talking, like all these smoke screens. Talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen couldn't hit the ocean. He was standing in it. Yeah, he got a big arm, but a lot of guys have big arms, right?
Damn.
They love talking about he came from a small school. Steve McNair played at a small school, but Jeff Fisher ruined him. Carson Wentz was small school. Flacco, small schools. It's not about the school. It's can you play. I'm tired of people making excuses for him. But they make excuses for him, but they want to pick the Sam Darnolds and Josh Rosens apart. They're picking those people apart. And so, like the draft, it seems like they always want to pick the quarterbacks get picked apart. But Saquon Barkley somehow Mr. Untouchable, Mr. I don't run between the tackles, Mr. I only run great against the bad teams. But yeah, everybody's saying this guy should be number 1. But I watch a lot of them, but I don't see it.
Yo, if you can't hit the ocean when you're standing in it,
you're crazy.
Yo, you trash. Shout out to Donovan. Y'all man Donovan McNabb was standing in the ocean.
Water.
He would throw the ball onto some rock formation that he didn't see, trying to throw it in the water.
Before I hit on my Kaepernick thing, Donovan McNabb could put a gun to his head, he'll still miss. But But here's the thing. But here's the thing, guys.
Y'all killing the greatest quarterback in the Eagles' history.
But I really believe that Kaepernick. No, it's like when RG3 got signed. Now I'm not begrudging RG3 of getting an opportunity. And I'm like, cool. Just want to give you an opportunity to take it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I do.
But here's the thing though. But here's my issue though with him. Though. They gonna use that because they're getting sued right now. That's the thing. And, but with Kaepernick, I really believe he, like you were saying before, I think he knows now he's not going to play again. All this could have gone away. It's like I didn't see RG3 at some pro day at Baylor talking about, hey, look at me. I'm throwing the ball at a pro day. I want to play football. He didn't do that. But people picking him up and giving him a look. But Kaepernick is, I got to do this, got to do that. But I believe it's that, hey, it's going to be hard if you're trying to sue the same league trying to get a job for. But my thing is, why aren't?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much thought once that lawsuit came to
it's over.
To fruition, I thought that was it. Like with him even trying to get back into the league, but yet, every time somebody gets signed, we got to hear everybody saying, "Well, Kaepernick can't get a run," but I really like. Kaepernick is he's like Kawhi Leonard in this whole thing. Like, we don't know what the hell Kaepernick wants to do because he never says anything about that. And I love Kaepernick, for everything else he's doing. He's still my favorite NFL player. He's still my favorite quarterback for what he's doing outside the game. But it's like we've been defending Cap and going at people for Cap for the last 2 years, but we never know what he wants to do because he never tells us. So it's like, should we still be saying this guy can get picked up and Kaepernick can't get on the team? Should we still even be saying that? Like, Cap, let us know if you want to play.
Absolutely.
So we can stop saying that if we don't have to.
I've gotten to the point where I've literally just mailed it in. We know Cap's not getting back in the NFL. It's not.
I'm still no. Based on principle, I'm still mentioning it until Cap is 40. I'm still bringing it up. I'm still playing the card because guess what?
There's only one quarterback that can get
when you play the Colin Kaepernick card, it's related to the race card. And when you play the race card and you get called for playing the race card, all you got to do is say, well, who made the deck, created the game, and was the dealer of the hand? Exactly.
So we wouldn't have a race card to play.
I'll say this, and I'm gonna run. We having the TV on at work, so I saw Speak for Yourself, and they were talking about Kaepernick, RG3. I noticed, Whitlock, a black guy by skin color, but they were talking about 3 other white people on the set talking about he's an attraction, he's this and that. So I say, you notice, but Broussard was on that show earlier in the NBA segment. They didn't bring him out for that segment. They know who to put on to talk about, like the Reggie Bushes of the world, because they're gonna be get a safe Negro answer. Because them guys are campaigning for jobs.
Yeah, Reggie Bush loves white people.
Reggie Bush is retired at this point, but I get where you're going with this, and you're right. I mean, you're not going to put the wrong person out there. You're not going to put old Shay Sharp out there saying the safe things. You're not getting that because we know Cap is getting blackballed out of this league. We all know that guy, and I hate saying it, but. Colin Kaepernick is literally one of the 32 best quarterbacks in this world. I mean, 16 touchdowns to 4 picks.
32.
He's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the world, not just in this league, in the world. Because we all know, playing in this league, you're the best of the best, even though some of them, Tebow, really shouldn't be there at all. There shouldn't be guys like Blaine Gabbert, Sam Bradford getting paid still over a Colin Kaepernick who had a pretty good his last season in the league, 16 touchdowns and 4 picks over 2,500 yards on a Chip Kelly team that couldn't get out of his own way. I don't get it, but
I don't think Sam Bradford is trash.
We do get it though. I mean, that's why I don't ask the question anymore every time somebody gets signed. We're not going to say, I'm not going to say, and Cap can't get a run. Cap has been blackballed. like no, it doesn't have anything to do with who's better than him and whatever. Cap is not allowed to be in the NFL unless one of these teams who are, if they didn't collude, they're at least all following the same unspoken, unwritten rules, unless one of them gets the heart and the gumption to go ahead and be rogue and do what they have to do, we know why Cap isn't being signed. That's why I stopped wasting my time comparing him to every quarterback that gets signed. Like we know they're going to be some. Like they might they might make a statement. They might call me. They might sign me, just to let y'all know. No, we're not letting this dude back in the league. So we're going to sign Devin McMillan, who's never played a lick of quarterback in the NFL in his life. Like, that's just how it is right now. I don't keep asking the question.
I look at, like, my guy, Eric Reed, safety for the
he might be
49ers, too. He's getting – you're telling me he went from being one of the better up-and-coming safeties in the league to, because you follow Colin Kaepernick, now you're no longer in the league and you can't get a job. There are a ton of safeties that should not be getting signed at this point.
I'm still naive to think that Eric Reid will eventually get signed by somebody. For him, they might be trying to slap him on the wrist, and then scare him a little bit. But if he doesn't, wow. It's just, wow. That'd be just crazy. All right, so Tobias, I think he hung up, so shout out to him. Let's stay with some NFL stuff real quick. Fred's team, the Patriots, made a big trade the other day, and they got rid of what I'd like to say, because everybody's saying Brandon Cooks, but I think they traded the spirit or the ghost of Brandon Cooks, because as of February 4th, I was pretty sure that brother was no longer with us. So when they said he got traded, I was like, man, the Patriots got over on somebody again. They trading Casper's, the friendly ghost out this piece. But so they traded Brandon Cooks, or the spirit of Brandon Cooks, to the Los Angeles Rams for the 23rd overall pick in this year's draft. There's some more picks flying around in this deal as well as a part of the deal. Yeah, the New England also sent the 4th-round pick, and they received the 6th-round pick. So they're going to get the 6th round, the 198th overall, and the 1st-round pick, the 23rd overall for Brandon Cooks, and a 4th-rounder, 136th overall pick. So being a Patriots fan, of course, we're going to come to you first, Fred. What did you think when you saw this? Did you think your team got over on somebody again?
I said, Belichick, you sly dog. You got him again. You got him again. You know they say, shame on you, fool me, fine, shame on me. Yeah. Well, see, I see what they're doing, but I don't know if Belichick's willing to pull the trigger. And the theory is there's one of two ways you can do this. You can go give those 2 first-round picks for Odell Beckham Jr. I disapprove of this. I do not endorse this. This is terrible. Don't do it. And then you go pick up Lamar Jackson around on the back end, let him back up Tom Brady. Cool. The back end of that sounds great. Or you can go get a guy. You can use those 2 first-round picks and maybe package them with a 2nd and a 3rd, and really use that draft ammo to go up and get one of those elite quarterbacks that we see in this draft, whether it's either Mayfield, which according to some is the Patriots really like him. I hope not.
Which means, Fred, if they do that, would that signify the fact that Bill Belichick is now again in control? Because if it were up to him, they would have never gotten rid of Garoppolo. So for them to go back into the draft and grab another quarterback, would that just be not necessarily, because Robert Kraft even said, we need a quarterback. Which, why trade the quarter? And I get why, because you can't pay you'd have had to pay him too much. Right.
You can't. The Patriots do this all the time, and granted, I would have, and you can call me crazy and you can say anything you want, but I'm going to say the most controversial thing, and you might think it's crazy too. I would have been okay giving Tom Brady the Patriot way. Tom's 40.
Damn.
And I hate saying it, but Tom Brady. I
understand what you're saying. I mean, because you got your analyst hat on right now, so I know it's cringeworthy when you say it, but I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Trade Tom Brady
he's 40.
Because simply,
at some point you got to move on.
He's at some point you have to move on, and when Tom Brady got suspended a couple years ago, and Jimmy Garoppolo stepped on the field outside of an injury, I was really okay with the idea of this Jimmy Garoppolo kid is pretty good. And then he got hurt, but we saw a flash of it. I got to see this flash of it, and it wasn't against bad teams. It was against a Cardinals defense that turned out to be pretty good a few years ago when their window was still open, pre-Adrian Peterson and pre-Carson Palmer falling apart. This was when the Cardinals were right there when talking Super Bowl for this team, and he really made plays. So I was okay with it, but at the same time, I can see where people are saying keep Tom Brady for a couple more years, bring in a guy like a Josh Allen. I don't approve of Josh Allen whatsoever. So
yeah, so they really could be in the market for one of these young quarterbacks, but it's a different situation than the Garoppolo situation because they get a reset. They won't have the pressure of, oh my God, we got to pay this guy all this money. I mean, well, if they trade up and he's an early pick, they still gonna have to give him some sort of a grip.
They still have to pay him,
but it's not like you used to have to pay these early picks.
It's not the Sam Bradford making $50 million out the gate. When guys like when you have guys like Joe Thomas, who you're making more than Joe Thomas was as a rookie.
I'd say was.
Game
Joe Thomas quit like I ain't playing with this ball.
The real game changer in all of this, and it probably won't happen. I mean, it's New England for all we know, but if Lamar Jackson somehow fell to New England in some way, shape, form, or fashion and got to sit back and just say, I want to watch Tom Brady for 2 years.
No, Fred.
But, B. Austin, listen to me, B. Austin. Listen to me here. Lamar Jackson is not Michael Vick. He just has the athleticism of Michael Vick.
I know. First of all, he's not Michael Vick. He's probably a lot more intelligent. That's a compliment. But he does not have the athleticism of Michael Vick, which isn't going to kill him in terms of his ability to play court. Dude ran a 4.25, Fred. He doesn't have that. Michael Vick is one of the top 10 fastest players to ever play in the league.
Fast. He's probably 4.3, 4.4 fast. But for me, it's not his ability to run away from people. Lamar Jackson has that and I do not get this confused with me comparing these two players to Lamar Jackson or Lamar Jackson.
Yo, Fred, we're not stupid on this show. I know you used to dealing with you was the smart guy.
Lamar Jackson has a Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers quality where he can extend plays.
If there's anybody that he should be watching and want to emulate, it's those two guys. That's a if that's what he ends up,
plays
he could end up a Hall of Fame.
Run away from you later because he can. That's where that changes the game for a Patriots team that, to be honest, that roster is not all that great if you take Tom Brady off of it. So to combat that, you use that draft capital to go to either if Lamar Jackson falls, which I think he will. Lamar Jackson though. I am advocating for Lamar Jackson.
See, Fred, and we're used to talking to them too. Fred's used to talking to idiots because that's all we talk to online every day. So he gotta qualify everything. Like B said, we understand you, man. We know when you bring up those names, you're not saying those names, so you ain't got to qualify that stuff.
No.
That's the stuff when you talk online, people are gonna be like, oh, so now he Aaron Rodgers. Like, is that really what I said?
Exactly.
Yo, I got a question for you.
Is that really what I said?
For both of you, Lamar, where do you see Lamar ending up in respect to Deshaun Watson, and which one would you prefer?
That's
y'all both said that. I mean, right now you would have to say Deshaun Watson, right? Because we have film on him. We've seen him do it.
Deshaun Watson take the Patriots to the brink, and I rarely root for overtime and craziness to happen.
Man, the Patriots
aren't
want
that
gold
game to
standard
stop
anymore. We beat them.
you know, this is, you're gonna there's this syndrome you're getting Super Bowl syndrome, and I'm letting you have it for now, but don't become that team.
I don't have Super Bowl syndrome. I'm just saying you use the Patriots as the gold standard, and defensively they weren't anybody's gold standard. Tom Brady at 40 put them on his back and he carried them because and Belichick is a great coach. But don't make that qualifying standard like you're talking about an uber talented team. You're talking about a great coach and a great QB in a great system. From a talent standpoint, Patriots, I'm not surprised that a wildly athletic Texans team can lay mushroom head on the Patriots in the middle of the season. Super Bowl.
I mean, for me, when I saw the Patriots were injured really bad, and I don't want to use that as an excuse, but it is what it is.
Got him stuttering.
They lay mushroom head. Come on, man.
I'm trying to get over that one first.
Listen, but no, bro, because we talked earlier about, like, okay, the Patriots kind of got over. I don't see, even if we think that, because when you look at it, you're like, yeah, you know. I always tell people this, though. When people are doing trades, NBA, NFL, or whatever, I'm not one who ever really compares the two teams that are trading, because each team is doing what it takes to make them better and get them where they need to be. Mm-hmm. So, I rarely compare the two teams that are making a trade. Like, think back to when the Lakers traded for Pau Gasol, and everybody was like, oh, they ripped the Grizzlies off, blah, blah, blah. The thing was, the Grizzlies were bottom feeders. So holding on to Pau Gasol did what for them? He was the only tradable asset they had. People say the Lakers got over because the Lakers were in a different situation. They were one player away from being a championship team. So that's how people are going to judge it. Oh, they got over on the Grizzlies. Really, if you think about how that trade went and the domino effects after that trade is the only reason the Grizzlies have been good up until this point where they stink again. That's the only reason they've been good for however many years in the past decade that they've been good. That trade was what sparked it off. And, unknown in the trade, Powell's little brother turned out way better than anybody imagined that he would. So that's why I never do that. If you look at the Rams, they gave up a lot, and it looked like the Patriots got over on them. But if you've seen the Rams like we all have throughout the course of the offseason and going back in the last season, this team is on the brink. So they're going for it right now. I mean, look at everybody they signed on the defensive end. Now they're going to get their young quarterback some help because they lost Sammy Watkins. So really, Brandon Cooks is better than Sammy Watkins. So it's definitely an upgrade on the offensive side. They're giving up some picks. What they're giving up with those picks is a little bit of, opportunity to get some depth. But the Rams are not looking at this long term. The Rams are going for it right now. So I ain't mad at them.
But you know what? When you think of that trade, kind of like how the Patriots did it last year, when you say the Rams gave up a first-round pick, the number 23 overall pick for Brandon Cooks, is there a receiver in this class from 23 to 1 that is even worth that pick or is even better than Brandon Cooks? I say
right.
No. So
right.
I would rather
but listen, Fred, even for the guys out there who would say yes, it's still a rookie, and we don't know. So take a known quantity. Even though I saw him die on Super Bowl Sunday, take him.
By the way,
really
wide receiver is next to quarterback is the hardest position to transition to from college to the NFL. If you don't believe me, go back and look at all of the first-round receivers who are now.
Just look at the Detroit Lions draft picks from the last 2 decades. I mean, that's all you need to do. Besides Calvin, they finally got one with Calvin. But
I mean, I could just rattle off names like Kevin White, Tavon Austin. Or, I mean, you have your Amari Coopers and Jarvis Landrys, but they're few and far between. There aren't a lot of great first-round receivers.
Right. No doubt about that. So, if they were able to, because they introduced them today, so I don't know if that was really him talking or if this is like a weekend at Brandon's situation. But it's an upgrade over Sammy Watkins, because, all jokes aside, when we're being real, Brandon Cooks is going to be more – well, he should be, because it's not really hard to be more available than Sammy Watkins. And I'm getting a little choked up because the monitor they just put LeBron in a Sixers uniform and made me a little upset. But
is some of your knock on Sammy Watkins his injury history and availability,
or
it's
mostly
his actual
availability.
skill? Okay,
it's mostly availability, but even when he's on the field, I don't think he's lived up to the Sammy Watkins type of hype.
Sammy Watkins was supposed to be the next AJ Green, and I didn't see it then, and I don't see it now.
He definitely hasn't lived up to the the Sammy Watkins hype. So I'm not saying he's bad.
I see what you tried to do, but yeah.
There's a lot of hype out there, and he's rarely available. And then when he is available, he's just okay.
His teammate, his former teammate, DeAndre Hopkins, turned out to be a much better player than him, and that was supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
DeAndre kind of nice with it. Kind of nice with the feet work. All right, real quick, RG3, just want to get y'all quick thoughts on this. RG3 has signed with the Ravens, 1-year deal. I don't know the terms of the deal. Is this like a guaranteed 1-year deal, or is there a chance RG3 is going to get cut before training camp's over?
Hopefully he gets cut, but I ain't saying that.
Damn, why you want the boy to get cut?
Pop rocks and Tootsie Pop.
There you go.
Go ahead, Fred.
I'm kind of on the same. I'm in the same room with you on that one, man.
You're not messing with the cornball. You're not messing with the cornball, brother.
I want the CB brother, the CBB, to get cut, man. He got a new wife, man. He got to make some money.
No, I can't.
He got a new wife, and he got to pay the old one.
I can't. I couldn't with RG3 back when they drafted when the Washington team drafted him, and I definitely can't now. But we all know Joe Flacco's going to get hurt again. That back is bad anyway. So you may see a RG3. Who is he throwing to at this point? That Rashad Perryman and who else?
Josh.
So, I mean, it's going to be.
He ain't throwing to nobody. He throwing to his assistant coaches on the sideline.
Oh, you talking about now. In Baltimore? Yeah. Nobody. Some Italian receiver.
Exactly, and see, that's the thing for me when I look at Baltimore. Let's say Joe Flacco goes home, and because he has a back issue, and we see RG3. Are we really confident RG3 can make something happen? He couldn't make anything happen in Washington. And
we're not. But what if it plays out like this? What if it plays out like this? Because B. Austin and I, we were in the Washington area for the whole RG3 is Black Jesus movement, and they thought they were going to dominate the NFC East for the next 10 years. What if Flacco gets hurt? RG3 steps in, lights the world on fire, either keeps the job there or gets another job. No, I'm going to say keep the job there because that would hurt a whole lot more. And just say he turns into a Hall of Fame quarterback 30 minutes north of Washington, D.C. How messed up would that be for the fans of Washington?
You just turned me into a place I don't want to be, but I would not mind. I would
now
not mind.
You want him to be top 5.
Because I don't believe Joe Skinny. I've never had a bad opinion of him, but I've never had a good one either. I feel like he's a take it or leave it type of dude. Big arm, gets hot occasionally, but on a day-to-day, game-to-game,
you're talking about Joe Flacco or Josh Allen?
Joe Flacco.
The good thing about Flacco is when he gets hot, it's in the playoffs usually. So if you can get there, then you got yourself something. But Joe can't get him there half the time these days. But what if what if the story plays out like that though? Like how, I don't know. It might be like mass shootings in Washington might go up. Like, all right, that's a bad joke, but people will be upset because they were that invested in dude. Like I said, I've seen variation. I've seen at least 10 variations of license plates with RG3's name on it between Maryland, D.C., and Virginia area.
Fred, I don't think you understand. It was
something I've never seen before.
I don't think you understand the level of hero worship
I do,
from black people in Washington, D.C. when they named that dude quarterback, when they picked him. Not just license plates, there were Jesus murals.
They don't like Kirk Cousins because of who he replaced.
Jesus
They
murals.
never embraced ball.
I have a very good...
They don't mess with the ball, Kirk, man. He replaced RG. All right, we way behind, man. One more question for y'all for football, real quick, man. Odell Beckham Jr. The rumors now have gone away from the Rams, especially since they made their move to Jacksonville, and they've asked Jalen Ramsey because you need his permission. Because he might not. They like, look, I don't know if you want to be the only one here, but Jalen said he's down to sign Odell Beckham. So I envision some very good battles in practice, probably very physical.
Yo, you gotta keep them dudes apart so they make it to the season.
Do y'all think quickly? We really don't want to spend too much time on this. Is that a good fit for Odell Beckham Jr.?
Tremendous.
Or is the uncertainty of Blake Bortles, should that be a turnoff from him even wanting to go there?
Nope. I like it because, simply put, Tom Coughlin drafted him. He knows what makes him tick.
Right. And Blake Bortles is going to force him the ball as much as he possibly can to keep him happy.
And the fact that Leonard Fournette, the same Leonard Fournette that I trashed for 3 years, actually seems like he has an NFL life.
Get out in front of it, Fred, before I let you have it.
So he'll make the game much easier for Blake and Odell, is what you're trying to say. Better running back than the Giants have ever had in his tenure. No, yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good fit, and I'd be happy as an NFC East fan to get him out of the division.
And they're already built to. If they take. Might I actually say, if Odell plays for that team last year, they might beat the Patriots. Just being honest.
Just being honest here, folks. All right, so boxing real quick. Canelo ended up withdrawing from the May 5th bout, the rematch against Triple G. I'm a little salty about that because just as it was last year, that's the fight I was looking forward to the most. This particular year, it's not going to happen. Or at least it's not going to happen then because of the whole doping association thing that happened. So I hope they can get all of that cleaned up and they can move on and do something at a later date. Quick stat of the week. LeBron James breaks Michael Jordan's consecutive double-digit game streak. Michael Jordan's was at 866, which lasted from March 86 to December 2001. LeBron, he tied it earlier in the week. His started back in January 2007. So I believe they've played maybe 3 games since then. So he's broken it. He's maybe 2-3 games up on Mike at this point. How big of an accomplishment do you guys think this is?
Yo, salute to him. I would, for me, take, and I know it's impossible, but I take the comparison out of it, and just in a vacuum, I just say, great job, LeBron. It's amazing that you took and scored double digits in over 800 games. That's an amazing accomplishment. Salute to you.
Because you know what it is, though? What we talked about with Sammy Watkins. Availability. LeBron is the most durable athlete that we've probably ever seen. And shout out to Jimmy, because Jimmy's over in the Czech Republic right now getting LeBron some vampire blood, like the homie Phil Matic from Tissue and the Tape said. That's probably what keeps LeBron healthy and going. Durability, man. But I found – what are your thoughts real quick, Fred, before I tell you guys what I found earlier today?
See, I'm the LeBron fan here. For me, I get called the Nick Wright or whatever, but I think the durability.
I know you're a Brown fan, but I ain't never known you to be as bad as Nick Wright.
I'm not that bad.
Like Nick Wright is a part of LeBron's body. Like he's his left testicle. Nobody's as bad as Bro.
Yeah, I'm not that bad. For me, I think that's a great accomplishment. Still, you got a lot of work to do, and it's all about championships for me. I mean, it's great that you scored a lot of points. What has it done? Plain and simple.
What has he done? But listen,
you have 3 titles to show for all those points.
Like I said, it's definitely a durability stat because when you're a superstar of that ilk, like the people who are on the list, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 787, Karl Malone with 575, most of the time when that streak is broken, most of the time it's due to injury. Like you may have tweaked something early in the game and never came back in or something like that. Or, your team might just be blowing somebody's doors off in the first quarter and you needed to,
or or somebody gets some very much needed rest. Yeah.
Yeah, or somebody gets ejected or something like that from the game. Like it ends on some fluke most of the time.
I'm gonna put some context on this. I'm gonna put some context on this.
I'm gonna put way more than context on it after you finish. But go ahead.
Your man Mike. First of all, when his streak ended, Mike was a middle-aged man smoking cigars, having dinner with his coach.
In Washington, D.C.
He was 40 in Washington, D.C., and there was a game where Mike was stinking it up. Call it what it is. He was stinking it up. And Doug Collins couldn't take it, so he pulled Mike. Mike ended the game with 9. The very next game, MJ became the oldest player to ever score 50. So,
because he feels everything is a slight. Like, you don't do that to me. You at least let him get another free throw before he pulled him. Listen, I'm going to give you way more than context. I found a stat this morning where somebody was basically saying ESPN is trying to feed you that bull crap because usually on these type of streaks, they include everything, including the playoffs. Now, if we're talking playoffs with this streak, then the streak is not even close because what they left out was the fact that LeBron had 7 points against the Pacers and an 8-point game in the finals against the Mavericks. So they said his streak really ended at 433, which went from January 6, 2007 to June 5th, 2011. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, if you're counting the playoffs, like they usually do on these type of streaks, his is at 1,041. And his streak went from March 25th, 1986 to that fateful game in Washington the day after Christmas in 2001. So that's the thing.
From the time that
we have to qualify it. If we're going to say that, we're going to say LeBron has the longest regular season streak. But as far as streak period in any game that you're playing, like
Big Daddy ain't.
It's not even close.
Ain't going nowhere, man.
It's not even close. Mike is at 10:41.
To put that in context, I was born 3 years later after Jordan started this streak, and I was in the 6th grade when that streak ended.
Damn. So he basically scored double figures throughout your whole childhood.
Pretty much.
He carried you from like not even birth. Wait, you said you were born 2 years after the streak started?
3 years. I was born in 89.
Yeah, not even birth. Like Fred was like his parents were like talking about like one day we're gonna have kids until their kid was in the 6th grade. So that does bring it into perspective. But there's a lot of kids out there, some young kids who can say the same thing about LeBron's streak. It at least took somebody to their 4th birthday from 2007 to 2011. But shout out to both of them, man. I'm tired of this god-awful everyday new meme with stats comparing these guys, and oh, my God, I'm so tired of it. People ask me, like, I know you hate the conversation, but you indulge every time somebody – I mean, this is what we do. Like, I don't want to be the a-hole sports guy when people ask me stuff because I'm tired of talking about it. I just tell them, get out of here. So I don't want to be that guy, but I'm so tired of talking about it. I think the comparison is way premature on a lot of levels, but both sides of the argument, especially when you get to the super stands of both of those guys, like they make the argument very difficult because LeBron's people, they sometimes don't seem to believe what they're saying. That's why they dig up a new analytic type, statistic every day, and they just keep pouring it on every day. So it's like you keep doing this. It's like you're trying to convince yourself. And then you have the Mike people who are so non-objective about Michael Jordan, so biased about Michael Jordan that no matter what they see and what you show them, it doesn't matter because in their mind, there will never be another player as good as Michael Jordan. Whether we see it or not, whether it's happening now, whether it happens in 40 years, they're just not going to admit it. Just like old guys from the 60s will tell us FOH when we tell them Michael Jordan because nobody was better than Wilt Chamberlain. So that's just a part of it. But it's like the conversation goes on. People say the same stuff. It's like we're going round and round in circles every day. Yeah, and I'm a little tired of it. But anyway,
I am too.
That's not going to stop it from
typical
happening. So shout out to both of them in their double-digit streaks. Real quick, before we move on, you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at numbers 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. So we're going to talk real quick about a few things that happened this week while y'all were on the grind. And On the Grind is brought to you by Sports the Book. You guys tired of reading the same old sports books with the same tired old sports list, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, and comparing two players from different eras all the damn time? Well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. Its mixture of sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on the edge of your seat and laughing like you're watching a comedy special. Just go to sportsthebook.com or get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. Either way, don't miss the movement. All right, Damian Lillard, who actually got injured, but that's not what we're talking about here. A week before the playoffs, his brother has been shot outside of a mall parking lot. He's a 20-year-old Jarrell Lillard. They said he received first aid at a store inside the mall, and he was taken to the hospital. The severity of the injuries, at least that day, was unknown. I haven't followed it to see, what was happening. But, looking at this kind of stuff and where Damian Lillard is in the season right now, probably a top 5 MVP candidate, could you guys imagine that this would be kind of a distraction prior to the playoffs starting?
I don't think anybody expects a loved one or family member. Well, I can't say no one, but in his position, I don't think many expect to hear, your younger sibling caught some hot ones outside the mall. That's not, a regular occurrence. I don't know what type of lifestyle the young man was living, but assuming he's on good terms with his brother, financially, he doesn't have to engage in anything that would lead him into harm's way. I would hope. I would think. So maybe this is just chance.
They said they think he may have been a victim of a targeted attack. So maybe it's not because of anything he did. Maybe it's because of who his brother is. Maybe they think he's carrying a little something at the mall. The crazy part is the shooting happened the same day that Dame Lillard and his girlfriend announced that she gave birth to their first child. So he said he was on an emotional roller coaster because he was
sound like a Royce da 5'9" song.
Yeah, he was he was at his highest point and his lowest point in the same day. So he was in stable condition when it happened. So I don't think it's anything too serious. But until they actually investigate and find out why it happened, you would think Lillard and his family would have to kind of stay on alert. This could be people just. Could be jealousy. We're going to rob you because you Dame Lillard's brother and y'all got some money. So who knows, man. Y'all know how it works. So LeBron and his people from Uninterrupted have sent Nick Saban and Alabama, sent them a letter from the lawyer claiming copyright infringement because LeBron and the Uninterrupted has the little show that they do. They had 2 episodes of a show called what is theirs called? Because Alabama's is called Shop Talk. I think LeBron's is called The Shop. And the premise of the show is, guys sitting around in the barbershop talking sports. Basically something we've all done since the beginning of time and the beginning of haircuts. Alabama has an unreleased show called Shop Talk, which features Julio Jones and Nick Saban engaging other players in barbershop chat as well. So LeBron and the cats from the Uninterrupted sent them a letter saying that they had concerns about the format of Shop Talk stealing elements from the shop. Let me read you the quote before I get your opinions on this. It says, your continued exploitation of Shop Talk infringes Uninterrupted's copyright, trademark rights, and other valuable intellectual property rights in the shop and significantly damages Uninterrupted's commercial prospects for the shop. Do you guys think LeBron and Uninterrupted has a case here?
I don't. I really don't. I don't think so. Simply put, there are other shows like this, and you target one of the biggest entities in sports. I mean, it's Alabama at this point. They're making $500 million nowadays in revenue. Why are you not only targeting them?
I think, frankly, they're the only people they can target because all of these guys get their ideas from the little guy. I don't know how many times, one of our shows, either ours in general or something we did on YouTube or some show on the network, I can't remember how many times shows from bigger entities copied and did the exact same things that we did. Now, the problem in all of this is copyright, trademark, all of those type of laws they can become quite complicated because there is a such thing as copyright and intellectual property. But I don't know. I don't know if this is one of them because whether or not LeBron and those guys are trying to scare them, because we've done that as well. We've threatened people with legal action if they didn't cease and desist on something, and it never got to that point. The bluff was never called. In this case, Nick Saban is basically saying, oh, no, we're going to continue to do our thing. And then LeBron came back and said, well, the lawyers will basically hash it out. But in this instance, it just doesn't seem, it's like I see sports shows taking from other sports shows all the time. Like from the inception of like Fox Sports? Yeah, from the inception of like PTI, when now you have other shows with the same kind of topic bar going down the screen and the two guys disagreeing with each other, even if they really don't believe what they're saying. Like I've seen that grow since PTI. I've seen a lot of things with the same format. I mean, Skip Bayless left his show on one network and did the same damn show on another network. Same format, same everything. So I don't know how much, copywriting this type of intellectual property can really get you, because it's going to be hard to prove that they're doing exactly what you're doing to the point, to the letter of the law, unless they're just stealing things blatantly with no regard. And reading up on this, it does say that the Shop Talk has a lot of the same type of things, same type of graphics as the shop. So who knows? I think the worst they can do is to make them change the format a little bit of the show, but I don't really think he has a case of making Alabama just cease and desist on doing their show altogether.
For me, do you really want to go? My question to LeBron James is: do you really want to go to war with Nick Saban? I mean,
Nick Saban got this multi-million-dollar university, that has his back. Like LeBron's rich, but he ain't as rich as Alabama University.
You know what I mean? Nick Saban and Alabama are one and the same now. They are the Jedi. They are the Force. Do you really want to go to war? Go to war with? I mean, Nick Saban can just say, "Would you like to put rings up against it?" And whoever, I'm gonna leave that alone. But do you really want to go to war with Nick Saban? I mean, you're not just fighting Alabama. You're fighting the SEC and possibly the NCAA.
We'll see. I mean, the crazy part about it is, for the little guys who don't have the money,
this stuff happens to us all the time.
Things. And like if you look up barbershop talk, you go to YouTube and look up barbershop talk. You go to Google and look up barbershop talk. Man, you're gonna come up with dozens of shows that both of these entities probably stole ideas from. That's the crazy part about it. Like, you steal it from the little man, but then when somebody does something similar to you, then y'all ready to get the lawyers out and call out the hound.
That's the American way. You go after who you can go after. And there's two ends of that spectrum. Either you don't go after the big guy because he's big enough to smack you back, and you think that, you'll lose. Shout out to the artist.
I mean, we've been in some situations where we definitely we've been in situations where people actually use our name and our logo. I'm like, all right, come on now. Like stealing ideas, that's one thing.
The other end
and at the end of the day, you really can't do much about intellectual property unless it's like some invention
type stuff. The other end of that spectrum is, like you say, the small guy doesn't have any money for LeBron to go after, nor do the small guys have the money to go after him. So, they just don't even exist. So, he's just playing a game. I doubt LeBron is at the helm of this. I think, LeBron's legal counsel came and talked him in. He gave a head nod, and Maverick said, cool, now it's on. Like, it'll be interesting.
Oh, no doubt. But LeBron has to speak on it because whether it's true or not, they always want to give the image that LeBron is in charge of all of his businesses. So, I mean, that's 100% why LeBron, once Saban said something back, LeBron just gave that short, easy answer. Like, okay, we'll let the lawyers hash it out. And, what else is he supposed to say? But Skyview said LeBron is just salty because Survivor's Remorse got canceled. That's all. He'd be all right. I'm salty about that, though, because I love that show. Survivor's Remorse was that work. I did, too. Yeah, that was a good show. And Casey Mack, on our last conversation, he was like, Kobe consecutive is in the 200s. LeBron will be appreciated once he's done. I appreciate LeBron now. I appreciate LeBron now. And B. Austin pointed out that without the comparison, he's giving him props. What we're basically tired of is everything has to be that comparison. Like, that's the tiring part. Like, I think LeBron is plenty appreciated right now. But,
I think,
that stat that I brought into it, that wasn't mine. I'm just reading what somebody countered with. Like, they didn't count the playoffs. And most of the time when I do hear them talking about these type of streaks, they do count the playoffs. So who knows why they left it out of this particular.
You know why they left
it. But at least if you're going to leave it out, at least say that. Say regular season. Don't just say streak if it's not true, because there's more games to be played.
Shout out to Robert Moreland for pointing that out and getting it published.
Right. And of course, we're not gonna count preseason. That don't count. But playoffs, that's more important than the regular season. So how could that not be a part of it? All right. So there was an MMA fighter. Did y'all see a story about the MMA fighter who turned the tide on on somebody that attacked him on the street?
No.
I didn't hear about that.
No.
Break it down.
I didn't even read the story. Somebody told me about it, and I'm like, that'd be interesting to talk about. But the fact that none of us read it might not be interested. All right, so I'm here now, though. It says an employee at Ultima Fitness, MMA fighter, was recently attacked by a stranger in broad daylight in downtown West Palm Beach, but instead of becoming a victim, Jose Cortez, who is also a former MMA fighter, turned the tables on his attacker. They said it's on video, too. Video captures the moments after the man tried to attack him. When he tried to attack me, I put him down and this is where I finally put him down until police got here. So, dude was walking down the street, and man just tried to choke him from behind. He tried to put him in the rear naked, and then he said he kind of held his wrist and put him down. He keeps saying put him down. I don't know what he did to put him down, but he said the attacker stopped resisting after finding out who he was dealing with. Yo, B, when we used to frequent those MMA fights in Maryland, we used to talk about that all the time because dudes would come out and be so unassuming, like dudes that look like they couldn't fight. And you're like, yo, why is he on this card? And then he'll be in the ring destroying somebody. And we used to always talk about the fact that, like, yo, this right here is the reason why you can't just
judge
blindly,
a book by its cover.
Yeah, you can't just blindly deal and disrespect people on the street because you don't know who's into this MMA thing these days. Now, shout out to the homie Billy Page, a.k.a. Hank Rawlinson. He was talking the other day, and he was like, see, that's why you got to look for that cauliflower ear. If you walk up on a dude and he got a cauliflower ear, you don't want no smoke from him because he's been in some battles. Yeah, you leave him alone. But this is exactly why you can't just assume that the little scrawny dude that you see on the street, you know, and y'all have some words over who was next in the line at Starbucks. This is why you can't just be out on the street fighting anybody because you think, oh, he look like somebody I can beat. It don't work like that no more, man. These dudes will, like this dude said, quote, put you down, and that'll be all she wrote. So shout out to dude doing what he had to do in his situation. There was a Michigan graduate who lost out on what could have been a $1 million payday when Michigan lost to Villanova in the national championship game. Yeah, this dude, graduate Derek Stevens, he made a bet, but he did have the foresight, they said, to hedge his bet with $330,000 on Villanova. So, I mean, it sounded like dude had enough money where it didn't matter that he lost anyway. But the funny thing is the owner of this hotel, this restaurant mogul and billionaire of the Houston Rockets, who owned the place, the Golden Nugget, where the bet was made, he just put this dude's information all on social media. Like, we found out about this story because he put a tweet out that said today could be this is prior to the game. He said today could be the day that I make Derek Stevens $1 million richer. You know, if Michigan beats Villanova in the Final Four, his $25,000 bet at my Golden Nugget is a $1 million winner. So, first of all, I wouldn't want my sports investments and my tickets, the photo of his ticket, being put out there for the public to see. But it's crazy, like, how dudes be out here betting this much money on stuff that they can't control. So, all right, so we're going to end the show on some basketball talk. But before we do that, let's get some quick birthday shout-outs. And the birthdays are brought to you by the Creator, whoever you believe in, whoever helped give you life. That's what they bought by. No sponsor for the birthday segment right now. So,
the Creator is the ultimate sponsor.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so having a birthday, Matt Bonner turns 38. Shout out to Matt Bonner. The realest basketball player ever turned realest analyst ever, Steven Jackson.
Still hasn't retired, trying to get back in the league.
Yeah, turns 40. Member of the Big Three. Ike Hilliard, former NFL wide receiver, he turns 42. And we old. Ike Hilliard is 42. Tony Banks. Tony Banks, the original quarterback of the 2000 NFL Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens before he lost his job to Trent Dilfer, turns 45 years old. And MLBer, former MLBer, Chris Carpenter, turns 53. So we like to give a War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays. And if you guys check out our website at warroomsports.com, make sure while you're there to look around, see everything that you can see. But if you want to call in and speak with us about any NBA topics, you can dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, press 1 if you want to talk. I think we got some calls on the line. We're going to start this NBA conversation, and then we're going to get to you, so just hold tight. All right, so the 2018, and I'm sorry, I got to pay a bill on this one. The NBA Wrap is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank. For an effective online presence, top-quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And, yes, financing options are available, so visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them that the homies at War Room Sports sent you. All right, so the 2018 Basketball Hall of Fame class has been announced. Has some folks on it that were questionable, but before I get you guys' opinion on this, you got to remember it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not just the NBA Hall of Fame. So when you make that, they take into account everything you've ever done in your basketball career. So
even the playground.
Even the playground. So the Hall of Fame inductees, Ray Allen, Maurice Cheeks, Coach Lefty Driesell, formerly of University of Maryland fame, Grant Hill, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Charlie Scott from the WNBA, Tina Thompson, Rod Thorne from the executive ranks, and Rick Welts. They all were basically saluted at the Final Four this past weekend. So let's talk about the modern-day guys, the guys that we watch from beginning to end. You got Ray Allen, Maurice Cheeks, Grant Hill, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash. So do you guys see anybody there who, if you had the vote, you wouldn't have put in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, absolutely, because I'd stick to our commitment here at the War Room to a very, very, very high standard. And, salute to our brother Jimmy, who's off in Southeast Asia rescuing Toots from the perils of their life and preaching the gospel to them. He came up with, or I wouldn't even say came up with, but was definitely the purveyor of the rules, the War Room Sports rules for the Hall of Fame. Can the story of basketball be told without you? Were you dominant to the point where, super dominant, as in top 3 to 5 at your position for an extended period of time? And, statistically dominant, and the eye test. And so those are kind of the criteria that I use. And I'm actually, surprisingly, I'm okay with Grant Hill because of the longevity of his career. And I feel like what he did collegiately and the dominance for his first 7 or 8 years in the league, I can live with him in the Hall. Steve Nash, I was a little on the fence here, but I understand. 2-time MVP.
You have to, because of the objective award they gave him.
It could be
but the MVPs, you have to, even if we feel he didn't deserve them. He got them, so yeah. It could
be said that he was top 3 at his position for a sustained period of time. Jason Kidd, I'm cool with. The one that's going to get me killed and keep me out of my home city, perhaps forever, Maurice Cheeks can't get in the Hall of Fame. He can't get in my Hall of Fame, yo. The greatest thing I've seen from him was his ability to get Mo Cheeks. But I can't really support him in the Hall because I never felt as though he was a top 5 at his position. Statistically, I didn't feel as though he was dominant. And arguably I could tell the story of basketball, leaving Mo Cheeks out of it, and still be able to tell that story. I feel as though I know
the thing is I don't necessarily disagree with you, B. I don't necessarily disagree with you. And when we do our HOF or FOH, if I was pressed to give a vote on Mo Cheeks, I don't necessarily know that I will put him in, but I do understand what the case for him is. I think his case is similar to like an Art Monk in football, whereas, when you look at the greats, when you look at the very best point guards in NBA history, even though he was very good, I don't think his name comes up in the very best, the very cream of the crop. Even though these days, B, we pretty much know that the Hall of Fame obviously isn't reserved anymore.
The Hall of Very Good.
Cream of the crop. Yeah. I mean, ours is, but the real Hall of Fame is not really reserved for the cream of the crop. But like I said, he has an Art Monk-like case in the fact that when he retired, he was the all-time leader in steals, and at that point, I think he was also top 5 or 6 in assists in NBA history. So you have to look at it that way. I think the reason that we give him a harder time with this look is because it's happening so far after the end of his career. But another thing that goes into that is, his coaching career as well, which I didn't think was great. So that really shouldn't be what puts him over the top in a Hall of Fame argument. But he did sing the national anthem with the little white girl when she couldn't remember the words. So that might have put him. That might have put him over the top. So no, I understand what you're saying. You look at his averages in the NBA and all of that, and you're like, this is what they letting in the Hall of Fame these days. But his case is probably built on the fact that, hey, numbers change now. But when he was done, he was tops in one category and he was top 5 in another category. Like Art Monk had the most receptions in NFL history when he retired. Now, his numbers are trash compared to all the wide receivers that came after him. But at the time that he retired, that's the case I could make for Mo Cheeks. But if pressed to make one,
I can't bang with Mo, and I love Mo Cheeks' game, and I'm trying to. I love Mo Cheeks. I love Mo Cheeks as well. Mo Cheeks. Every man should love Mo Cheeks, but I can't make. I have to take my bias, my Sixers fan bias away, my Chip bias away, and just say, who was he to the game, and how dominant. I can't. I know I can name at least 10 point guards that are better, and probably 7 from his era that I just feel I can't go with Mo Cheeks. Ray Allen and Chris Webber, those are 2 guys that I'm gonna get lambasted for. I don't feel as though Ray
Everybody
Allen.
loves Ray, man.
Everybody
loves Ray.
No call from me on Ray Allen, and he got my team a championship. So
I'm with y'all. So that's all 3 of us. I don't know about Jimmy.
No, he was supporting. I think Fred is supporting Ray for the Hall because he got his team.
No call from me, none.
No, he said no for Ray.
No, okay, I'm not with Ray because I don't think that. Oh, he was saying, and he even got my team a chip, but I'm still not putting him in the Hall. I got you.
Yeah, I'm not.
When I look at Ray, and I know, again, listen, Fred, Dev, and I, and Jimmy as well have a very hard grading system, and I know where you'll go with this, with the skill set of what we know Ray Allen had, Jesus Shuttlesworth, to what he became. And why he's in the Hall now, he's a disappointment. He ought to be ashamed of himself.
For me, when it comes to Hall of Fame, it doesn't matter if it's basketball, baseball, football. It doesn't matter. My grading scale is this: Were you the best at your position?
Mm-hmm.
Never.
And
did you change? Did you change the game? Were you?
Nope.
And when I think of Ray Allen, I've seen Ray Allen already. I mean, I've seen that. I mean, I saw Reggie Miller already. I've already seen that.
No, but listen. It's a shame.
Now, this is one thing we do have
Ray,
to give Ray for everybody who really didn't see him prior to, let's say, his Boston years when, he sat back and was just a shooter. Like, and B already know where I'm going because I always say this. From a skills standpoint, from purely a skills standpoint, there's, in my opinion, no shooting guard ever in the history of the game that had a better overall skill set than Ray Allen. Mm-hmm. Now, where Ray Allen goes wrong is I think he underachieved with that skill set. Because Ray Allen could have easily been Kobe Bryant. He could have easily been in the Michael Jordan conversation.
That's what I was alluding to.
But
listen, Dev, look at what Fred said. When Fred thinks of Ray Allen, he brings up Reggie Miller's name. Now think about that in terms of what we know Ray Allen really was.
And see, for me, you got to understand my basketball experience started like knowing basketball. Not that you're a little kid and you're looking up to these players. Oh, these players are cool. No, like actually knowing the game. Ray Allen was a shooter by then. Ray Allen was in Seattle.
And that's kind of what I think B is saying. He's saying by you saying that, by somebody who came along later than us and seeing Ray Allen at a later time than us, by you saying that, it proves what we've said about him all the time. Because most people just look at Ray Allen as a shooter.
As a great,
and I think it's a shame that he let himself. It's a shame that he let himself, lie comfortably in that nook because he had so much more with him. Like when I watched the movie He Got Game, and you just watch him get down in some of those scenes and all that stuff, and you know what he can do, and you know Ray from the college days, you're like, this is not just a movie. This is what this dude can do. But when he gets on the court against people that are supposed to be on his level or better, the Kobe's and people like that, the Tracy McGrady's, he used to shrink.
When Ray Allen, when Ray Allen was a buck,
he had
Fred,
hops, he had handles,
they got rid of
shooting.
Sam Cassell. There was 3 quarters to maybe an actual full season that Ray Allen ran the point for Milwaukee, a point guard. He brought the ball up and started the offense. Like, people don't even know that. Like, when you think of Ray Allen, the comparison to Reggie Miller, that's no knock to Reggie because Reggie is one of the great all-time greats, but Reggie's skill set was super limited, and we know him for hitting big shots as a great shooter. Ray Allen was a great shooter, but he was so much, much more than just a three-point shooter. And
should have been.
And see, I appreciate Ray Allen more now as I've gotten older and knowing what he is now. He wasn't just the knockdown shooter. He was he could ball.
Ray would cross you over, go behind the back, come down the lane, and have his elbow above the rim.
And then moves like leaving the Celtics to go to Miami. Like, I think that all plays into your legacy. Like, even like LeBron. LeBron is one of the greatest basketball players that I've ever seen in my life. Him on the court can never be questioned, in my opinion. But the decisions that he make, I think it has to go with his legacy. Joining up with Dwayne Wade, joining up, with Wade and Bosh to form that Miami, and then when you bleed that situation dry, you look back to Cleveland like, okay, they got a young Kyrie coming up. Let me get this they just got this number 1 pick. Let me get him traded for another superstar, and then I'll go back there. And then now it's like that's drying up, and rumors are that he's looking for another wave to ride. That kind of stuff goes into your legacy. It's not going to stop LeBron from being in the Hall of Fame, nor is it going to stop him from being, one of the top 5 to 10 basketball players of all time when it's all said and done. But I really do think that it has a lot to do with this whole greatest of all time that people are trying to push. I really don't think, there's not much he can do unless he runs off the next 5 chips. There's not much he can do.
Yeah,
in my opinion, to get there.
Can I be a little? You guys.
Hold on, Fred. The higher you climb up the mountain, the less you can criticize us as pundits for splitting hairs and nitpicking. The higher up you climb, the less you can criticize us for splitting.
The magnifying glass gets closer to you when the higher you climb. So the fact that we can talk about LeBron like this, it means, hey, he is climbing that mountain. He's trying to get to that Rushmore that a lot of people are prematurely already putting him on. But go ahead, Fred.
Yeah. For me, in one, I'll go as far as I don't think LeBron's ever going to win another title. I said that a year ago. I don't think he's ever going to win another title.
I hope you're right.
But it depends, though. If he might go, if he goes out west and joins one of the powers, like if he goes out and joins Houston, then we had to revisit. But I hear what you're saying.
Or if he does something absurd like I'm going to join the Warriors, or that's a different story. But if he stays in Cleveland, like I think I have a good feeling that he might, because see, the LeBron is, as much as LeBron is about his titles, he's also about being about his money. And I have this theory about LeBron ever since he went back to Cleveland. I feel like that was more Nike than LeBron.
Because they wanted to complete the story. The prodigal son returns home. You know how much money we can make off of that? Mm-hmm.
The whole "I'm coming home," the Diddy song, and all this other stuff. You had a team in Miami that they were willing to bring, and granted, I don't think Melo's a great player, but he's a great one-on-one player, but I don't think he's a great NBA player in general. But the Miami Heat were willing to bring players in. They were willing to cut salary, and you say, I want to go back to Cleveland to go team up with Kyrie Irving, who hadn't won anything, go get rid of Andrew Wiggins, who we see now doesn't want to be a number one, and rebuild.
Which means he would have been the perfect complementary player. He'd have been the number 3 to LeBron, and it would have been
which
perfect.
I think that would have been a
and he
better
played
role
defense.
than Kevin Love, but that's a different story for a different day. I mean, you love D-Wade, but you don't want an Andrew Wiggins who kind of plays similar early. But that's rather here nor there. My theory in all of this is I think that's more Nike's doing than LeBron's doing. But LeBron knows the money, because if you've ever paid attention to LeBron's career, he only takes 3-year deals, and he always holds the team accountable. So he's going to hold Dan Gilbert's feet to the fire no matter what. But he's in debt. Nike's pulling the strings. LeBron, stay in Cleveland. You stay the prodigal son. You won your title. LeBron doesn't have to do anything else at this point because he's won his one title in Cleveland. He can just make the playoffs and make the finals every year and go 3-10, 3-12 in finals.
Well, and obviously, and you LeBron fanboys, y'all give him props for making finals. So if he's doing that, he can be the greatest player. Yeah, people keep talking about how many times he's made it. Well, I thought the object was to win. But listen, we only got like a minute, and a couple people. Skyview said Ray Allen leads all-time NBA three-pointer field, which is one of the things. That's the reason that he has a case. Plus, Ray Allen put up good numbers, so I don't knock them for putting Ray Allen in the Hall of Fame. But my cream of the crop argument, which doesn't mean a damn thing these days, Skyview, because obviously the Hall of Fame isn't about the cream of the crop anymore. So we could throw that out the window. He said, I got to rewind. He said, Mo Cheeks was that guy. Y'all saw him extremely short. And, yeah, at the same time, that guy meaning what, though? Because on the 76ers, he wasn't that guy in the way that we say that guy. He was a very good point guard, but come on, you played with Doc, Moses, Andrew Toney, Bobby Jones. He wasn't that guy. It's not like they were looking to Cheeks to win them the series. But Mo Cheeks is still one of my favorite point guards of all time. But favorite and greatest,
12, 7,
two different
and
things. So I can't let my bias get in the way of that. And then Casey Mack in the GroupMe group said LeBron goes back to South Beach next year. I know Fred would enjoy that. That's the only move Fred would like. Everything else is like blah. You come back? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. And Casey Mack said, Casey Mack also said, if Mo Cheeks gets in, Rondo will too.
No, he won't.
He might, though. I mean, come on. Look, everybody freaking gets in these days.
The NBA Hall of Fame is a participation trophy in itself.
Yo, the only thing I hope is that Starberry gets in, since it's Basketball Hall of Fame.
If it is basketball,
you know what? If they want to say that, they'd have a very hard time to justify to us him not getting in.
You can't keep him out.
I mean, the fact that he was over there in the first place was a lot of the reason,
in China. Like, he's literally
if Stephon Marbury doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, then they can kill all of that. It's not just the NBA. And NBA-wise, he had a hell of a career before he was, deemed a bad guy and basically banished from the league. So, yeah, that's a great point being. We're gonna start pushing for that. Stephon Marbury better make the Hall of Fame if they're just gonna put every other person in the world in the Hall of Fame. But no, Scotty, no knock, because Cheeks is definitely one of our favorites. We're just trying not to let our bias get in the way of what we're trying to do here. But look, everybody, I want to thank all of you for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, the War Room Sports Game Time on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. If we didn't get to you, our bad. Try us next week. Special thanks to the homie Fred Perdue for co-hosting with us. And safe travels to our brother Jimmy, getting back from Transylvania with LeBron's Vampire Blood. Tune in next week, live right here on demand, as we catch you up on everything happening all around the world of sports, including continuing coverage of the NBA playoff preparations, NFL pre-draft coverage, and a whole lot more. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook and Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up Jimmy's book at sportsthebook.com or at warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Worth it, secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah. You know? Jimmy. Dev. PJ. Stop back. B. Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.